Hello.
Alright, mate.
Not bad. Welcome to episode 9 of SNT with me and Tom.
Blimey.
How you doing, mate?
Not bad.
Surviving.
It's been a very slow week.
Yeah, it's been a weird one. All the days, all the weeks, even the months now are kind of just meshing into one giant, weird, fucked up calendar.
The Mayans. No, I have no idea. I don't know, mate. I don't know how to feel. Like everyone I'm speaking to now at the moment is going mental. Literally, they're all going mental. Me along with them.
Yeah, and me.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds sad, but when I start seeing people again, mate, I'm just going to be hugging them and be like, "Well, it's good to see you." Like, honestly, that's the way it's gone, isn't it? Like.
I know.
Jesus.
I know what you mean. It's pretty crazy. So, alright then, if you think you're going mad, how are you keeping sane?
So I've been doing my exercise. Exercise obviously key, keeping yourself sort of healthy and your mind going a little bit, which is good. I have finally... Well, I downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Nice.
And to be honest with you, it's not bad. It's not bad. I've been playing it and trying to learn more, because I know a little bit about the story. I've sort of watched the Advent Children anime, so I know the back end of it. But in terms of the main story, it's the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and I've always wanted to know the story because it's quite famous, the characters and all that. So, but yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I've only played a few chapters, but it's all right. Let's keep my mind focused on, even if it is like a minor thing. Let's keep my mind focused on what to do and all that. So
nice. Yeah, it's all right. It's high up on my list. I've not actually started playing it yet, or I've not got it yet, but I did play the original. Nice one. Anything else you've been playing?
Well, there is something I've been playing and fucking failing on. I don't know why, mate. Soul Calibur's gone downhill.
It has, mate.
My fire for, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Quinn of old is still there, but he's buried beneath some rubble or something at the moment, because my fire for that game's gone. Not the fire's gone, but it's just like blood. I think because I'm used to now making no effort to do anything in my life whatsoever, because like society's deemed it that way for the time being. Soul Calibur's sort of been drawn into that void of like, who cares? Like which is, really I just need to grab my fucking balls and be like, right, back on to, start fighting back. But I'm just like, nah, not for the time being. But Call of Duty as well, mate. We've been playing Call of Duty.
We have. It's good, isn't it? It's bloody hard, isn't it?
That is the most exciting part of my day, playing Call of Duty with mates.
It is a laugh, isn't it?
It is. It's tough though.
I'm looking forward to it tonight. Yeah, it's really tough. It's really, really tough, and I'm pretty shit, to be honest. But I enjoy playing it. But it's hard. Some people are really, really good. It's just so tense, isn't it?
I find myself really enjoying playing it. The last Call of Duty I actually played properly was Modern Warfare, the old one on Xbox 360 and all that.
Bloody hell.
This is a good game. Quite enjoy it, to be honest.
It's fun. It's just a laugh, especially when you got quite a few of you.
I think the Gulag's quite a good idea,
Yeah, it is, to be fair. So you get like a second chance.
You have to earn your second life, which is exactly how a game should be. You got to earn your way back.
It's pretty cool that it's cross platform as well. I think it's one of the first games to actually do that. It's pretty cool. So you can play with people on PC and an Xbox. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah. But how about you? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I've been obviously playing Call of Duty and Soul Calibur with yourself. I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 3, so that arrived at the start of the week. And it's really, really good. Really enjoying it. It's really atmospheric, and it's a bit more of an action game than horror compared to Resident Evil 2. And I did play the original Resident Evil 3 back on the PS1 when I was like 10 years old, so I don't really remember it. Obviously, I remember some of the characters like Nemesis and Jill and that, but
Jill?
The remake is really good. Really, really good. Yeah, no, it's really, really good. Like, the graphics are incredible. Zombies are like, each one's unique. Really atmospheric. The action's quality. You'd love it. I really think you'd like it, to be honest. it's nice. It's still got the horror element, but it's a bit more action focused than the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out last year. I think people are a bit annoyed it's a little bit short.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. The only one I've played is Resident Evil 5 with Wesker and the bit where he dies at the end in the volcano, I think it is.
Yeah.
And you sort of RPG him from a helicopter.
I did like 5, but it took a proper like action-packed route. It's not really horror at that point. It gets a bit silly with Wesker being like superhuman and all that, and it's still good. Apparently they're remaking 4 that's coming out next year, and 4 is my favourite. It's so good.
I think they've clocked on to the fact that they're making money out of these games remaking.
Yeah, I think what it is, something that we talk about quite a bit, is like nostalgia. A lot of people our age are getting to the point now where, you know, they're missing these games.
They're old.
Well, yeah, they're old, but they're getting to the point where they're missing these games that they've grown up with. So I think that's why we're seeing so many remakes.
It's a good idea, though, I think. Especially the old PlayStation games. And
it's good. It is good, because it gives people that never had a chance, like, just to play it. It gives them a chance to actually play it, like, from the start, along with everyone else, which is good. But, I don't know, I'm missing, particularly with horror games as well, it's like, there's not really a lot of original horror games anymore.
No.
There's not really like original horror. None of them really exist anymore. They're all just remakes or like new entries in the series. It would be nice to see like an original, something like Outlast, like something really original.
Maybe like an open world Silent Hill.
Yeah, it could be quite cool. I mean, we've not had a Silent Hill on this gen, and you know, I think I said a few episodes ago, big fan of that. So I'd love to see a Silent Hill. I mean, it'll probably be in the PS5 now, but right. One of the things I wanted to talk about this week is a big passion of both of ours. It's you know, we're a bunch of cool kids. It's Pokemon, of course. I've been playing that on the Switch quite a bit, and I'm trying to get you back into it. So, as an attempt to try and get you back into the Pokemon games, I put a question your way.
Yeah, so I've heard a little bit about it. So you catch monsters or something, don't you?
Shut up. You know what Pokemon is, you know.
I bloody love it.
Times, you must have put hundreds of hours into Emerald and Soul Silver and...
Minutes.
No, you must have put days, literally.
Grew up with it.
Yeah.
Grew up with it, mate. Grew up with it. It's in my soul. I'm surprised I haven't got like an energy card tattoo somewhere. It's part of me, innit? Part of growing up. Part of
It's a big part of our childhood.
If you grew up in the 90s or a 90s child and you don't know what Pokemon is, you're probably dead. Nah.
Growing up, everyone loved it. It didn't matter who you were. Everyone loved Pokemon growing up. And some people, like me and you, never grew up.
Yeah, that's true. We became gym leaders. No, I'm joking. Christ.
That's a dream, isn't it? That's a dream.
Is it? I don't know, really, to be honest.
My dream, yeah.
Become a millionaire and then convert some sort of basketball court into a gym. Like a Pokemon gym.
Yeah. Just to be clear, not like an exercise gym. You mean a Pokemon gym, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the question I posed to you in the week, give you some homework. I said to you, you know, if you had to pick a real life team of your favourites, your favourite Pokemon, who would you have? Possibly the nerdiest conversation anyone's ever had in the world, but fuck it, you know. So if you had to pick 6 to have, what would be your dream team? Who are your favourites? So really quickly, so talking of teams, like there was a phase where I was playing Heart Gold, you were playing Soul Silver, and we were like every single day we were battling each other like a bunch of cool kids. Do you remember what your full team was on that?
It's funny because
I remember your team.
Well, literally, like when I was going through this list of favourites, the favourites really basically are the same as the team I chose in that game, apart from 1 or 2.
Similar to me.
Yeah.
Really similar to me.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just turned out to be... I think that's why you pick the Pokemon you do, don't you? When you actually go... When you start these games off, you have to start a Pokemon and that's good, and you sort of... But I think most people, if they know what Pokemon are in it, say Gen 1, 2, 3, whatever, they sort of have in their head an idea of what team they want anyway. and you go out searching, you sort of get Pokemon along the way.
Try and balance it.
Yeah.
But you tend to go for ones that you like.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, there are one or two that I like that I can't have in my team just because they don't have the stats or whatever. But in terms of the way they look, and for the most part, the ones that I actually like are the ones I have in my team on the games anyway. Apart from one or two, like I said. But
let's hear them then. Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, surprisingly, I haven't got any from Gen 1.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. Like,
wow.
There was one which I did consider, like, we're not doing like the gaming team, we're doing like favourites, right? And I thought it would be a bit of a thing to, even though I bloody love him, I thought having Mewtwo would be a bit like not cheesy, but like a bit of a cheat. But
mate, if he's a favourite, he's a favourite.
But I bloody love Mew, like in terms of like, if you had to put,
bloody love Mewtwo.
Yeah, if you had to put legendaries in a line, Mewtwo for me is...
He's the original, he's the OG, you know.
100%, like, it's Mewtwo. Like, everyone knows Mewtwo. Like, the card looked amazing as well, the original card. So, Mewtwo.
Ours, isn't we?
But, no, so my first one, my first official one from my list is Kingdra.
Okay, yeah, that's Gen 2. Yeah.
Gen 2. So, there was quite a specific... way to get him in the game as well. You had to have like some sort of scale attached to a Seadra.
Dragon scale.
And and it would evolve into a Kingdra and honestly, like, it was a good...
I remember.
Because it was a good type. It was a good mix between water and dragon as well, so it had both advantages. Now we're going to get grilled for this, but...
That's fine, mate. We're a pair of nerds.
Yeah.
We're a pair of nerds.
Kingdra.
Let's see the rest. Go on, then. Who you got? So you got Kingdra?
Alright, okay, Kingdra. I've got one... I think this is probably the cool... Out of my entire list here, this next one is probably the coolest looking, okay? Steelix. Right?
Yeah, I knew... Yeah, Steelix, yeah.
Right.
I knew you'd say him.
Now, love the look of him, right? But, again, in the games, got a lot of weaknesses, right? But you can breed him to have a special ability called Levitate, which makes it harder for ground type moves to attack him, like Earthquake and stuff, which he was really super effective to.
Oh, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, actually.
No, go on.
No, I was going to say, well, actually, if he's got Levitate, he's immune to ground type moves.
Exactly. So that's exactly why Steelix... I mean, for the look, for one of my favourites, Steelix. All day, every day, right? And but in terms of the game, it was really difficult to have in my team because he had so many weaknesses. But like I said, if you have him with Levitate, then it was good. Just to be technical, you had to have an iron coat with an Onyx, alright? To evolve him.
I remember that.
But yeah, Steelix.
He looks so much better than Onyx. Onyx is just basically a bunch of rocks. Literally, it's a bunch of boulders stuck together. Like, who designed that?
My number 3 is considered to be the quickest Pokemon of all time. It's Crobat. So he's got one of the highest levels of speed stat of any Pokemon.
Crobat. Yeah, your Crobat was tricky when we used to fight because he used to always get the first move.
Of course it was, man. Quick attack, or he used to have quite a difficult evolution to Crobat from Golbat because it used to be about his love stat. So however many steps you did with him and how many times you were with Crobat.
How happy he was, I remember.
Yeah, which is definitely not what I am at the moment. No, so Crobat is on there. My next one. So again, I've had 3 from Gen 2. This is the last one in Gen 2. It's... I don't know how people feel about these things, to be honest. There was this whole, like, oh, it's a pseudo. So, nah. Not for this one. This one was the original pseudo, if you want. Tyranitar. Right?
Tyranitar was quality, yeah.
Now, this was my man, all right? If anyone knows me, right, and you don't, but if
anyone knows me here, apart from the bloke I'm talking to,
apart from Sam, people like, I tell you what, Tyranitar was my boy. All right, he'd go in there, Sandstorm would appear. He was the only dark rock type in existence at the time, right? And the card, I've never seen such a cool card in my life. Dark red with light green.
Yeah.
Right? And again, he was like the original pseudo, if you like. Moving on to my number 5 in Gen 3. Now we're moving to Gen 3, which is probably the limit of my interest in Pokemon. Is Metagross, right? Oh, it's another pseudo. Yeah, I know, right? But he's my favourite, right? Metagross, still psychic type. Again, had Levitate, right? looked cool. It was given to you by one of these rocket scientists to like guide along the way.
That. Yeah, Metang. I remember that.
Yeah. And last but not least, in fact, my Metagross in my game, which I got from Emerald, actually had Pokerus, which is an old virus computer. It was like a virus you get in the game with it to like give them extra stat. So that was the only one I ever got to have Pokemon Virus, which is topical stuff. So he had Virus, and he managed to give him sort of extra. Is it XP or EAS? Fucking, I just made up a letter then. ESP or something like. I don't know what the fuck I call it. Like,
I'm gonna have to put a bleep button on you. Jesus Christ!
Oh, sorry. My last one is Salamence, Dragon type. Quite difficult to find the original Bagon, which was like the first type version of him. And he was tough. He was quite a cool Dragon type, and so that was my last one, Salamence.
How about Garchomp?
Well, he's not. When in terms of dragons, right? He's not the same as Salamence, and arguably he's just not. I don't enjoy him as much as this one, so I don't know why.
So okay, so if you had some honourable mentions, then who would you put in there if you could think of any? And any that you liked but didn't quite cut it.
So one that I really, really like and has never made the cut because it's just not strong enough is Cloyster from Gen 1.
Oh, Cloyster's quality, yeah.
And he used to have some really cool psychic dark moves because I don't know why specifically this water type one did, but you could either have him as water ice or water dark, and sometimes he'd have like dark type psychic moves as well, and he was just a really cool looking sea water type Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm single, by the way, if anyone wants to. So Cloyster is one of my honourable mentions. And, well, the original, innit? The only other one is the original, it's Charizard himself.
He's got to be in there, isn't he?
And I know he's your fucking number one as well, isn't he?
He's my boy.
He's your boy. Yeah.
He's my boy. Alright, nice one, mate. Nice one. Fair enough. So my 6. So, I mean, similar to what you said, most of these, the majority of them were in my team. I've got to edit this out. Jesus Christ.
Please don't.
So first up is Jolteon. So, actually, really quickly, it's really interesting what you say about none of yours being from the first gen, because 5 of mine are from the first gen.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So first up is Jolteon. So obviously he was in my team. I really liked him because of his speed stat. He's really, really fast. But I really liked the EV evolutions. And such a loser. But Jolteon was probably my favourite. So Jolteon's in there first.
That's great, mate.
Next up is someone that used to wind you up quite a bit. If Focus Blast hit, Alakazam. Because he could one-shot Tyranitar, which was pretty cool with Focus Blast.
Yeah, that's cool, 75% hit ratio, luckily.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it.
So Jolteon, Alakazam. And the next one, the first time I saw it in the anime growing up, straight away I was like, it's my favourite, was Gengar. I think Gengar is quality. Looks really, really cool. Really, really dark. Awesome. So Gengar, Jolteon, Alakazam. Next up is someone... I've got a bit of a weakness for fire types, you see. I love me a fire type. So next up is Typhlosion. So, it's like only Gen 2. Really, really fast, really high special attack. Could cause you some problems if he could get in there and actually land a hit. But I really like Typhlosion. Next up is Charizard, as you said. Obviously, the OG, most people's favourites, but I couldn't have him in there. I couldn't not have him in there. I just think Charizard is fucking badass. Look at him. Fire-breathing dragon, mate. What more do you need? Although
I think your dad probably remembers Charizard as well, doesn't he?
He does. I've got this I've got this saved. But we'll touch on that and the impact that Charizard's had on my life. Fucking hell.
Real life heroes.
Real life heroes, Charizard. I mean, he could never make it in my team when I was fighting you, just because I felt he had too many weaknesses. Like rock, electric, water. You know, this goes on really, but I'm going to stop talking now. And last up is my all-time favourite is Gyarados. So
Jesus,
big Gyarados fan, as you know. Really, really quick shout out to my friend Mitch, who's got a YouTube channel as well. Rbox Den on Instagram and YouTube. Check him out. He does really cool pack openings and Pokemon themed videos. He's a really cool guy as well. So shout out. There you go. But yeah, Gyarados. Gyarados is my favourite. He hooked me up with some really cool Gyarados cards actually as well. God, I'm a grown man. You wouldn't believe it, would you?
No, you would.
But yeah, no, it's quite weird though that 5 of mine out of the 6 are from the first gen. I don't know if that's partly because of nostalgia. Big part of our lives, isn't it? Pokemon, big part of childhood's growing up.
Yeah, I mean, on a serious note, you grow up with these things and they do sort of stick with you. And to be honest, I don't know what it is. Like, I think most men sort of collect things, and
yeah, I think so.
I was lucky enough to make the decision when I was about 6 or 7 to start looking after my cards, and
yeah,
I've managed to hold on to a folder full really of a load of them. You know,
some
like
of the originals.
Yeah, honestly, like all of them. I've got a really nice folder with them all, and you know, like these things come out to, in all seriousness, they're coming up to being 30 years old. So it's a quality thing to look back on. You know, like,
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
People have baseball cards, football stickers, Pokemon cards. It's just a bit of like something to look back on, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's true what you say. Like a lot of people like collecting stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you collect. I don't care if it's fucking like models or whatever it is. It's cool to you, so enjoy it. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, completely, mate. I mean, so touching on what you mentioned really quick about Charizard. So I think, you know, I was lucky. I had a really great childhood. You know, I was quite lucky. And growing up, you know, loads of great stuff happened. But the biggest standout memory for me was, to paint a picture for you. So me and my dad, we were going to get a haircut down the local shops. Had my haircut. I think I'd been about 8 years old. So just got my haircut. Walking past the newsagents. If you're an American listener, a newsagent's basically like a little shop that sells papers and milk and stuff. I remember saying to my dad, "Oh, Dad, can I get a Pokemon booster pack, please?" He was like, "Oh, you sure?" I was like, "Oh, please, Dad, please." And just to shut me up from whining, I remember he was like, "Yeah, go on then, you get one." We're walking out the shop. I'm going through this base set booster pack. You know, little 8-year-old me, not really looking after the cards, but anyway, pulling the cards back, and it's like bloody Fire Energy and bloody Goldeen and Psyduck and all that crap. I get right to the back, and honestly, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I get to the back, and there's this little shine on the card behind the next one. I'm like, no, what is that? I pull the card back, and it's a bloody holographic Charizard. And I remember screaming my lungs out. I was like, "Dad! Oh my God, look, Dad!" I was nearly crying, right? I was nearly crying for packing this Charizard, and my dad was like, "Oh yes, it's really good, son. Calm down." But honestly, mate, like, that's one of the best moments of my childhood is getting that Charizard. It sounds stupid.
Your dad was pretty like miming to the newsagent bloke, like he's special. Don't worry, it's all right.
I know, from that moment, I think he knew I was going to be a massive loser. But seriously, that's probably the best moment of my childhood. Because they're so hard to come by. They were so rare. And to actually pack like from a booster pack, to actually get like a proper Charizard holographic, mate, best memory growing up. I've still got that card. It's sitting on my shelf, and I will treasure that. I will treasure that forever. Massive part of me growing up. What a story, hey? What a fairy tale.
No, mate. I mean, like I said, these things are cool, especially when you're a kid. I mean, well,
yeah,
maybe not. But
or a 28-year-old man, but anyway. So, all right. So what was your favourite childhood memory? If you had to pick one, what was like the standout that you can always look back on?
Probably my parents' divorce. No.
God.
My favourite childhood memory.
Yeah, like the best moment, like looking back, like what was one of the happiest times of your childhood?
Christ. Do you know what, mate? I don't have an answer for that.
Fucking hell. Someone kill him, Jesus.
My favourite childhood memory. I've got funny things, like things that happened, and do you know what? Right, I'll tell you something a bit weird. Right, we used to live in part of the town that I live in called the Old Town.
That is
right?
weird.
And
no, I'm joking.
And honestly, this is a bit bizarre, right? So, me and my brother and my mate at the time, before we go to school, we used to love digging, right? Digging in the garden. And honestly,
digging,
like you wouldn't believe this, right? We spent every morning for like a year digging in the garden, like digging out a hole, right?
What the fuck are you digging for?
No, well, this is the thing, right? I'm not joking. There was bones, there was pottery, there was a unicycle. All these things were buried under the garden.
What?
Honestly, Sam, I tell you now, right? Honestly, there was like the Bronze Jubilee. My brother's still got the box with all the stuff that we found. Honestly, Sam,
there was a unicycle buried in the garden.
There was a unicycle under a tree. There was like bones, like from animals
bodies
and stuffs. And honestly, Sam, I tell you,
we found a body in the garden.
No, honestly, it was really bizarre. I mean, there was stuff like I don't know what it was, but we were into like really, we were digging all the time just to find stuff. And like I said, we found. When you're a kid, you can tell the difference between bone and rock and stuff just by the way it looks and how it feels. Like we found so many different types of bones. Like there was teeth. There was like I said, just loads of weird stuff. That was quite a good. It sounds weird to get into that sort of stuff, but I'll tell you what, that was weird. Like when we found a unicycle, we knew something was up. Like whoever lived there, I mean, you're talking probably 100 years ago. Started obviously. As stuff's left there, it just soil built up, you know. But we used to live in an really old house, and to be honest with you, even to this day, and I don't care if I get ripped for this, I still believe it's relatively haunted, actually. But
that's a happy memory.
Well, do you know what, right? Yeah,
poltergeist on the unicycle.
Yeah, maybe. But my brother had a mate. Right, called Ryan. Right, I don't know his last name. I all remember his little cocky kid who had blonde hair. Right, and the fair was down in our town. Previously, like the week before, it was like the fair, and you sort of get little fluffy swords, and you get a goldfish which dies the next day and all that. And got like a bow and arrow. Right, I got like a bow and arrow. Right, you know, like the old Indians used to have them, didn't they?
The bow and arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what bow and arrow is, mate.
But it had like a sucker on the end of it, right? And we was
what? Oh, a sucker.
Like one of those things.
Yeah, on the end, yeah.
And right, this is going to sound like a freak accident because it literally was, right? He was sort of in my room with my brother, and they were playing. And I was giving them time to play, whatever. And this is going to sound like bullshit, and it literally is bullshit because it's just a freak accident, right? He was a bit cocky, and we were sort of playing around as kids, and he was like, "Oh, I bet you can't like hit me," and my brother was like, "Yeah, you can't hit him," and and honestly, they were jumping around. I remember he had this little red jumper on, right? And I had this bow and arrow, didn't I? So I pulled this thing back, right? Like honestly, this is one of those things where if you try to do it a million times, you couldn't do it. It just wouldn't happen, right? I pulled this little sucker back, and it was like, oh, you can't hear you sort of bouncing around on his feet and stuff. And I let go. I let go of this thing. And to this day, right, I don't know how it happened. The arrow went flying across the room, right? And the sucker hit his eyeball. Like directly. Like, not like over the lid. I mean, it hit his eye, and the sucker hit his eye. And
God.
Honestly, Sam, it went from "I bet you can't hit me," and then you had this like little kid screaming like, "I can't replicate it." It was like a fucking, it's just a horrible like a kid in absolute agony, and I was like, oh my god, like I was like, I'm gonna get put in jail here. I've shot a kid in the eye.
Bloody hell!
But you could see his lids like go over the sucker of the thing as it got stuck on his eye. And
poor kid.
I ran into my mum's room anyway. I was like, I pretended that I didn't know what happened. I pretended just to look at that window, and my mum came storming up the stairs and was like, "What's happened?" And I heard my brother say, "Oh, Tom shot my friend in the eye." And honestly, like, I had to go up to his mum and apologise, but he had such a bloodshot eye. But you imagine, like, seeing it from a third person's point of view, like two little kids playing around. Yeah, you imagine like seeing a kid like across the room shoot a bow and arrow and hit some kid's eye. Like the force behind that arrow as well. Bloody hell. But anyway, sort of went on for a massive tangent there. But
no, that's quite funny. I've got some funny ones. I mean, there's a couple that come to mind. I mean, one of them, I won't say her name, but we were at school and we were playing football. And I've got a bit of reputation for being clumsy. Just having a friendly game of football,
As you do.
running, as you do, And I'm running for this ball, and there's a girl in our year, and she was running towards it at the same time. And for some reason, I decided it'd be a good idea to keep on going, and have my head down, because everyone runs in real life like they're in an episode of Naruto. They run with their head forward, of course. And sprinting full speed, and I smashed her in the nose with my head. And obviously I felt terrible about it. I didn't mean to do it. Felt like a knob. Felt really, really bad. She starts bursting her eyes out. I look up and there's blood like absolutely everywhere. Like everywhere. Nose is wonky and it's like she's obviously broken her nose. Ambulance comes and everyone's like, "Oh, you're horrible." It was an accident. I did not mean to do it. I literally broke a girl's nose by accident.
You spat on her as well, didn't you?
What?
No.
Spat on her? No, I definitely didn't do that. But yeah, I broke her nose by accident. I felt so bad. I mean, she was great about it. To be fair, she was really nice. Bless her. She said that obviously not at the time she was screaming, but when we were back in school, she was like, she was like, don't worry about it. It was an accident.
Thank you for misshaping my face.
But she was a nice girl, wasn't she? As well, she was actually nice. And
she was before
really
you
bad.
headbutted her.
I felt really bad for that. I had some crazy stuff. Happen growing up. I mean, another one was... Did I tell you about the time when my friend got his teeth smashed out on the car?
Sorry.
Did I tell you about this?
No.
Okay, so I was probably about 16, and my friend at the time, Anthony, who I met at work, my weekend job, Ant was driving, and he had an older friend who was on the he was in the car with us, and he'd been drinking. Not the guy driving, but the guy who was in the car with us had been drinking, and we were dropping him off. And as we dropped him off home in the evening, about 2 a.m, he thought it'd be a good idea to sit on the bonnet of the car. And obviously we were young and stupid, and he thought, "Oh, do you know what'd be a laugh? Was if I drive with him on the car, and I brake." Kept doing that a little bit, and the bloke on the bonnet was like, "Oh, faster," and it gets to about 10-15 miles an hour.
Fucking hell.
Oh god, this is really bad actually. I could get in trouble for this.
You could have slid underneath the bloody wheels.
I won't give second names. So we're driving with this bloke on the bonnet, just like not driving on the road, it's just like in a little street, so it's going slow.
On the road.
Anyway, Ant brakes, and the guy on the front goes under the car, smashes on the concrete, right? And at this point, I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, "Oh my god, what's he done? Like, what is going on?" And I'm panicking. All of a sudden, this guy gets up off the floor, holding his face. He's like, all his teeth have been smashed out, right? They're all smashed out on the concrete. He's holding his teeth. Literally, mate, he must have lost about 4 or 6 teeth, like all the front ones, all smashed out. Anyway, we take him to A&E, obviously, and we're in the hospital, and we're sitting there, and we're like, we can't tell him what happened, because my mate's going to get in trouble, like, this is quite serious, like, he's in hospital, he's really hurt. So we thought, you know what we'll do, we'll say that someone hit him and drove off, right? And we think, yes, that's a good idea, yeah. So we tell the hospital this, next thing you know, we're in the waiting area and the police come. Because obviously it's a hit and run, isn't it?
it's basically attempted murder.
So
now.
we're sitting there. We're literally sitting there like, this is real. This is really, really shit. This is real now. So we give this fake description. We got our story straight really quick. Give this fake description of this poor bloke in a Mercedes that hit this kid and ran off. So somewhere out there's some poor bloke in a Mercedes with glasses and grey hair.
Basically everyone in a Mercedes.
He's been arrested for something he didn't do. But yeah, it's a few standouts, mate. It's a few standouts, but that's mental, though, isn't it? That is mental.
I remember getting all my dinosaur toys out on the floor once. Sort of, we used to have. Were they called childminders? I don't know. When people came over in the evenings to look after the kids and the parents went out for meals.
Paedophiles.
What'd you say, Guy?
Paedophile.
Yeah, paedophile. No,
the groomer.
No, I'm sure they're called childminders. But anyway.
No, yeah, childminders.
And
yeah.
I remember like I sort of got to know this woman a little bit. I was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm getting a bit more confident. I was like, oh, I'll show her all my dinosaurs. So I came like, honestly, I was like, this is. I brought them all down one by one. I was like, this is my T-Rex. This is my Stegosaurus. And I was really proud of this one. I was like, and look at this, it's a Brachiosaurus. And I was just like, honestly, I remember lifting this thing up like, look. I was like, fucking such a cool dude back then. But the look of my childminder's face must be like, yeah, I mean, that's the 10th one you've showed me. Anything else?
God.
But yeah, fucking, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
You're still into dinosaurs, aren't you?
Do you know what? I've been into nature for years. Like, not nature. It doesn't make me sound like a fucking nude.
I've been into nature for ages.
Like a nudist or something. But no, like, you know, I don't know, like animal welfare and fucking natural world. I love all that. David Attenborough, the actual hero of mine, not Charizard. But no, honestly, yeah, I've always been into that sort of stuff. Like, that's probably why I was probably digging for animals. You know.
All right, so who's your hero then? Is it him?
David Attenborough, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, David Attenborough. I mean,
yeah, I like the guy. I got a lot of respect for him. Can't believe he's still going.
There are people who have passed away that I would have liked, that I admire. Like Winston Churchill, for example, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story, right, quickly. Just on that. When we was in college, right, the first day you're in a college, they sort of do the old kiddie thing where like, oh look, get to know someone you don't know in the class, and you know, create a collage on PowerPoint of the things they like. I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
I remember that. Bloody hell! I actually remember
and
that. Who you paired with?
I got paired with this girl. I don't even know her name. She was that boring. This girl, I don't remember her name, but she we spent 20 minutes talking to each other. It was like, oh, okay, you know, my name's whatever, your name. Like, oh, what stuff are you into? And she was like, I'm into like ponies. I like flowers. I like going on walks. And I was like, oh, you know, all right, fair enough. I'm trying to think of what to do for my collage for this woman. And she asked me the same thing. Oh, what are you into? And I said, you know, I like my I was like, I like history. You know, like people like Winston Churchill. You know, like my mythology, and you know, and I was like, oh, you know, okay. And then anyway, started going off doing these tasks and the collage and things, and it was like, right, let's present the work to the class about the person that you were learning about. So I get up there, you know, I think the teacher was called Phil. He's a bit of a gay man, and I was like, oh, you know, so and so is into a wildlife. She's into ponies. She's into flowers, and you know, nice girl, bit boring, whatever. Perfect, you know. Oh, well done, Tom. Thanks for sharing. Let's just call her Stephanie because I don't know her name. Stephanie, get up, okay. And literally, what she presented was basically a right-wing fascist Nazi Hitler. But it was like, oh,
seriously,
you know, it was literally a big picture of Winston Churchill.
How do I not remember
the swastika
this? How
in
do
the
I
corner.
not remember this?
All this shit, I was like, what the fuck? Like I was just like, hold on, I'm not. Like, it was just like, oh, and tell us who Tom is. Okay, Tom is a Nazi supporting Winston Churchill fanatic. It's like, no, I'm not this person. It's like, fucking hell. Like, this woman went off the chain. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I was like, I looked at him, I was so embarrassed. I was like, how the fuck is this woman put, like, when you say to her, I'm into history, she thought swastika. I was just like, what the hell's going on?
We had some funny times in college. Do you remember, again, I won't say names, do you remember the guy in our class who used to lie about everything?
Used to lie?
Yeah, the one that used to be a prolific liar.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Do you remember,
I know.
Do you remember the lie that he told
remember.
about? So, bear in mind, we were 15 at the time.
I'm a surrogate for 2 lesbians.
No, 15, 16. Yeah, he tried to make us believe that he was a surrogate for 2 lesbian mothers. Sorry? What? Sorry, can we just think about this? Now that we've got a bit of perspective, you know. So, are we to believe that a 15-year-old boy was chosen as a surrogate for 2 lesbian mothers?
Yeah, I finished Fallout in 2 minutes.
Yeah, he had a pirate's license. He had a pilot's license as well, if you remember. Remember that? So he was a sperm donating, plane flying, game hacking 15-year-old.
Fucking.
Do you remember that?
Well, it's just I've never understood people like that because all they do is fuck themselves in the end.
We had some funny memories, didn't we? There were some characters in that class, including us.
There was that kid. I don't know if you remember, Sam, when we had to do a presentation, and this kid decided to use swine flu from Wikipedia as his presentation.
I remember. But he literally copy and pasted it.
So let me just paint a picture for you viewers.
For the listeners,
right?
yeah.
Right. I did a piece of work about Stalin because that was the one they fucking gave me. Right. I didn't choose Stalin. I would have chosen Pokemon. Right. But they gave me Stalin. So I had to come up with who's Stalin and teach about Stalin. Right. Okay. Get up there. My teacher hated me. Right. Basically, ended the presentation. He goes, "That's complete bollocks. Stalin liked the peasants." I was like, "What? Whatever." Right? I got like a 5 out of 10. Let's just say my presentation, basically because my teacher was an arsehole. Right? Anyway, this person gets up. Right? Copy and pasted the entire Wikipedia page about swine flu
because he left the hyperlinks in there. I remember.
Yeah, literally. I
remember.
And literally, this is where the world's gone wrong. Right? This kid was disabled. All right.
Oh.
I mean, and he was disabled, and I'm not going to lie, he probably got a bit of like, let's, what do they call him? Mollycoddle him. What do they say? Like,
yeah.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt because he's disabled. He wasn't really disabled. Okay, let's just put it. Even though people thought he wasn't. Okay, and he copied and pasted the entire Wikipedia page of swine flu onto his presentation.
I remember.
Right? And we're sitting there. I was like, fair play to him. Whatever. Hold on a minute. He gets a 7 out of 10. Right? 7 out of 10. I got a 5 out of 10, and I did work. This bloke's like, I was just like, this is complete bullshit. Like, and the worrying thing is, these things are going towards grades. So people, if you're part of that college, I won't say which one, right? But it's corrupt.
Do you remember my presentation?
But yeah,
Obelisk the Tormentor.
I don't know how you slipped that in, mate. I don't know how you slipped that in and got away with it. I should have picked it out. Fucking hell.
Oh, that's funny.
How did you get that in there?
Don't know, I just made some shit up. Oh, actually, really quickly, before we end this, do you remember Richard, the database tour? Remember that?
Yeah, about the Walker's Crisp bloke who was obsessed with like prawn cocktail.
Yeah. So, do you remember what he done to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right. it was the final. Like it was like the deadline for these assignments to be handed in.
Sam, can I have a word?
Yeah. And I foolishly left my computer open, and I had like a 20-page document. My final assignment. And I'm going to print it, making a few final changes. Get away from my desk. I come back to my desk, print it off, walk to the printer. Give it to Richard, sit back down, start browsing the web, just give it some time while I'm waiting. And I hear, Sam, will you come here, please? I'm thinking, what's going on here? Is there a problem? Walk over, and he goes, do you care to explain this to me? And I'm looking at this paper, I'm like, yeah, what's wrong? He goes, read that. And I'm reading it. And I realise that someone, don't know who, but someone has done a find and replace, and they've replaced the word the in my 20-page document. They've replaced the word the with the word CUNT. So yeah, I had to apologise quite heavily for that, and yeah, cheers, mate.
Oh god,
that was funny. It was funny. You got me good. I remember that.
I remember one of our tutors going off on one saying, look, because we were in computer science for A level, and we all did really well. I always remember this statement from our teacher, and he goes, look, when someone learns a new language, they sit there in silence, and 2.5 years later, they're fluent. I was thinking to myself, right, okay, I don't know if this is meant to help me, because I don't even know how the hell, what to do in JavaScript, like, I ain't got a clue what to do here. But he goes, don't worry, in 2.5 years' time, you'll be fluent in it, right? Words of encouragement. About 2.5 years later, when the exam comes, couldn't tell you what I was doing. I think I literally started, like, I just remember, like, if you ask me now, how do you start code? I would have started with equals sum, right? Like, I don't even know Excel formulas at the moment. I don't use it. I don't need to know it. Right?
Yeah.
But like, I always remember that in college. It's like, oh, don't worry, you'll learn it in 2.5 years. I was like, yeah, all right, mate, you don't know who I am.
I mean, what he probably should have told you was part of it is you have to actually do the work.
Yeah.
And study. Yeah. You have to actually do that bit as well.
You have to give a shit about JavaScript. Do I?
No. We had some funny times at college, didn't we?
Well, it's just a waste of time. Look, I look back and when someone said to me, "Oh, what'd you get out of it?" I was like, "Nothing." Like nothing. Didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Got a few. I used to go off to the toilets.
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
And that's how much I gave a shit. All right. I got close with a girl in my class and used to sneak off to the toilets every now and again. That was about it.
I remember that. That's funny. I remember going. I was sitting there. I was thinking to myself. I was like, "Where's Tom? He keeps disappearing. A couple of days a week. Has he got a bad stomach or something? What's going on?" No, that's funny. I remember. Yeah, we had some characters, didn't we? That's funny. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's probably a good place to stop, I think.
Bloody hell.
We named about fucking 20 people this episode. Definitely got to edit this out. So if it's a bit jumpy, it's because we're protecting people's identity.
Well.
But yeah, no, it's been a good episode. It's been a good laugh. It's working quite well, actually, this recording in separate locations, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this was a good subject because I've got about another 20 stories I can read off the top of my head.
Mate, I got so many. This is episode 9, isn't it?
Episode 9, the penultimate
episode 9.
Episode.
So next week is the finale, the grand finale of the first season, isn't it? So it's got a special episode next week. I know you've got a few little bits planned, didn't you? Yeah,
I mean, we're going to make sure we end season 1, that is, with a bang. So
nice one. We've got a video coming out as well, haven't we? Hopefully this week, just like a vlog that we done last week, just to see how we're kind of coping with the lockdown and what we're up to, and so you guys can get to know us a little better as well. Not that you give a shit, but that'll be coming live soon as well.
So thanks for listening to episode 9 of the SNT show. I said follow us on Instagram and on Spotify, and we've also got videos coming out on YouTube as well. Yep. So yeah, we'll see you next week for episode 10, end of season 1.